Alright, so today we are gonna see how to use the Vive Eye Pro eye tracking capabilities in Unity. And in order to do so, we are gonna create a simple scene in which our eye gaze will be displayed through a raycast starting from the camera that's in the headset of your Vive Eye Pro. Before going on and creating the scene, be sure to have SteamVR Runtime installed and the Sranipal Runtime installed. If you don't know how to do that, you can click in the link in the description to the tutorial where I do that, or you can, if you prefer, go over to the GitHub repository that I created, where you can find a written tutorial in order to do so. But yeah, be sure to have these two programs installed, and let's dig in and see how to achieve what we want. So having a simple camera rig in this scene, and how to display the eye gaze of participants or players. Okay, the first thing that we want to do once we create the new scene is to go over to the Unity Asset Store and import the SteamVR plugin into our scene. So in my case I downloaded it already, but you want to first download it, and once the package is downloaded, you want to install it in your scene. As you can see in this dialog window, you can choose what to install from this package, as for any Unity package for that matter, but in our case we're just gonna import everything. Okay, once the package is installed, you're going to be presented with this dialog window. Just hit OK, and you can see the OpenVR Loader XR plugin settings are selected, and they are going to be what we need for this scene. You're going to be presented with this other dialog window. I'm going to hit Accept All. All right, so at this point you can close the project setting window. You can close the package manager, but before going any further, you want to go over to Window and SteamVR Inputs in order to create a JSON file for the SteamVR inputs. Just hit yes, and you want, for our purposes, just save and generate from the default SteamVR input JSON file. Once you do that, you can close the window. So now we install the SteamVR plugin. One thing that is left is to open your Vive Sranipal SDK, and you want to import the plugin for Unity. So you just, once you have the Sranipal SDK zip file, you want to unzip it, and you want to open it, navigate to the Unity folder, and just you can just double click, or I prefer to just drag and drop the Sranipal Unity plugin into my assets. So you're going to be presented with the same dialog window. You want to install everything. And as you can see now in your assets, you have the Vive Sranipal plugin installed. So first thing first, we want to add to our scene a simple camera rig. Therefore, you just navigate to the prefab that you need. Here you have your camera rig. You just import it in your hierarchy. And once you do that, you wanna be mindful of this small detail. As you can see, you can select the object in the hierarchy, your camera rig, and go over to its child camera. That's the camera that will display the scene into our headset. And as you can see, this object has the tag untagged. It doesn't have any tag. While if you go to your main camera, you can see that it has a tag main camera. So since our scripts will look for this tag, you want to first thing first disable or delete the main camera object, and you want to tag your camera, your camera rig camera, with the main camera tag. This is an important detail, but it's necessary. You can do it after everything else we will do, but just do so and be sure to have this tag in your camera object. Alright, so if we go now and hit play, let me show you with a better view. So now here you have your scene view, and here you have your game view. Your game view will display what's displayed in the headset. So if you wear your headset and move around, you will gaze at this empty void, at this horizon with nothing in it. While in the scene, if you play the scene and see what's going on, you will see that the camera is moving with the headset. So I'll just go over and hit play to show you what I'm talking about. You see, now I am moving my headset. I have it in my hand, and you can see that in the game view, if I rotate my headset, it displays what is seen by the user in the cameras, in the small visor, in the eye visors. While in my scene view, you can see that the transform of the camera is moving within the scene. Alright, so now I'll put back the headset, stop playing the scene. So as we see, once we generated the inputs from SteamVR, basically the plugin take care of what we need to do for us and just track the headset. And now what we want to do is what we're most interested today in tracking the eye gaze of participants. So in order to do so, you want to look for, in the Vive SR asset folder, you want to go over to scripts, you want to go for eye, and as you can see, there are many scripts for the eyes in this SDK. You wanna look for the Sranipal Eye framework, and you want to attach that script to our camera. So let's go over and do that. Now you can see you can choose for two different versions of the eye script, because there is the Sranipal Eye V2 and the Sranipal Eye. You can choose the version that you prefer, but for our purposes, today we're gonna see how to use the Sranipal Eye class. So once we attach the Sranipal Eye framework to this to the camera object, you want to go over to component and add a line renderer. Okay, as you can see now in our scene, you can see the line renderer coming from the camera. You maybe want to make it a bit less wide, so yeah, something like between 0.0 and 0.1 in terms of width is what we're looking for. It doesn't need to be too wide for our purposes. And you want to go over to asset, create maybe a new folder, let's call it materials. and you want to go over and create a new material. Let's call it green. I want to display a green raycast to debug, and yeah, you want to just add this material to your line renderer. Therefore, you open the material section in the line renderer, and you want to drag and drop your new material. So as you can see now, the line of the line renderer is displayed as green. All right. So now what you want to do is to add a custom script. You can find the link to the GitHub repo in the description. It's a custom script that I made exactly to just do that, to track the raycast, and potentially you can use it to log into the console the hit point of your eye gaze with different objects in your scene. So go to the folder where you downloaded the eye gaze raycast that I made and import it in your asset as well. Okay, so now that we imported the script, we're just gonna go over, drag and drop it, and attach it to our camera as well. And let's see what happens once we play the scene. Okay, so as you can see now, there is the raycast rendered through the line renderer in both the game view and in the scene, and as I move my eyes, you can see that this line is tracking where I'm looking at. But there is still one problem. This problem is if I turn my head, as you can see, the line from the line render, it seems to be anchored in a way that doesn't really give us the behavior that we want. It sort of pivots around the same place, but it doesn't really track what I'm looking at right now. It's going something like 90 degrees into the wrong direction. So in order to change this, we should go over and change the eye class from which our scripts inherit. Therefore, we're gonna go into the assets. We're gonna go into the script folder and look for the Sranipal Eye, which, as you saw, is the script that our Sranipal Eye framework is using, and also that our eye gaze raycast is inheriting from. And we should open it. I am using Riders now, and because it's a very powerful editor that has a very good integration with Unity. And as you can see, it's a very long script. I studied it a little bit, and what we want to do is go over to this method, the getGazeRay method, and if you look at it, you can see that there is a conditional statement in which basically our gaze is not, it doesn't use the word space, but relative space. Therefore, we want to just add some lines to this method in order to make it so that the raycast doesn't pivot in that strange way that we just saw, but really tracks the eye gaze of participants, and the line from the line render moves also in its direction of orientation with the movements of the headset. So once I turn my head 90 degrees, you can see that the direction of the eye gaze tracks also the head movement. Therefore, we want to just add two lines of code, one in for every conditional in the if statement. So the first one is gonna be here, and we're just gonna add the direction. This should work. And let's go over to this other conditional. And here we're just gonna add again the direction. Maybe you want to comment in order to remember that you add these lines, should you need to get them out at another point. So all right, so now we save the script, and Unity has already compiled it. Let's see if the behavior now really is what we were aiming for. All right, as you can see now, as I turn my head, the direction of the raycast also changes in order, and it's tracked correctly. It doesn't pivot weirdly around the position of the headset, not changing it really the direction, and it tracks my eye gaze. If I look up, the raycast is directioned upwards, while if I look down, is direction down. All right, and that's really it. We just need to just have a recap of what we did. We just created a new scene, and we imported the SteamVR plugin, the Vive Sranipal plugin. We added a custom script to track and render the eye gaze of participants. And we went over and changed the main class, the eye class, in our Vive SR plugin. And with all that, now you have a scene in which you have your headset tracked and the eye gaze of participant tracked and displayed through a line renderer. I hope that this tutorial was informative, and I hope it might be useful for you to eye track participants in your behavioral experiments in Unity. All the links are in the description to the iGuys Raycast custom script, and to the tutorial that shows you how to install Sranipal Runtime, and to the GitHub repo of the same tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you in the next tutorial.